Was BlizzCon enough to save Overwatch 2's future direction? Now, what we're going to do in this video, guys, I suggest you grab a drink. I've got myself a lovely Dr. Pepper. I'm not sponsored, by the way, but I can be if you like, Dr. Pepper. Reach out. But this is a video in which we're going to look at everything, and I mean everything, that was announced at BlizzCon to try and work out what is going on with Overwatch 2. Now, I think this is going to be a pretty good video, and like I said, I recommend you grab a drink. This is going to be a long one because this is a BlizzCon where it's over now. The hype has died down. We can sit back, as I choke, but we can sit back and we can look at this sort of with a cold eye, right, and try and discern what's going on. And I think for me personally, I never went to BlizzCon this year, so I'm not really lost in the hype of BlizzCon. The announcements are always cool to see at BlizzCon, but everything else around BlizzCon, it's like a whole experience. You get sort of washed with the Blizzard stench. I shouldn't say that, but you basically become like you're in their world, right? Everything is larger than life. It's amazing. You're meeting awesome people. You know, it does. You get high on life, right? And that's a fine thing. The problem is, though, obviously this dictates a lot of reactionary content. And, you know, this affected me to some extent as I'm sitting here watching it live. You know, I'm getting hyped. And one of the things I always said before, well, this is going way back, but 2016, I did the Sombra reveal after the live stream, the grand opening ceremony of BlizzCon, and the actual stream on Twitch, the BlizzCon stream, hosted my channel. I had like 280,000 concurrent views. I was like, what? It was an amazing time. But the year before, I was just some guy sitting at home, like in my boxer shorts watching BlizzCon. I always watched BlizzCon. Wasn't the biggest Blizzard fan beyond games like StarCraft 2 and like old stuff like Warcraft 3. I've played World of Warcraft, you know, I've probably got a lot of hours in WoW, but I never really classed myself as like a die-hard WoW fan. But anyway, enough of that preamble. Let's I want to show this to begin with, because I think this is quite telling with the direction of Overwatch. And I think this is a good thing. Like, this is a really, really good thing, and it's the recommitment to PvP. Now, I do want to give a shout out to Elixir. I think I'm covering your channel at the bottom here, but thank you for re-uploading this. Very weirdly, Blizzard haven't, this isn't available on their actual channel. Like, they don't have the stream VOD or anything available, which is weird, right? But whatever. You know, I guess a lot of people, myself included, have covered this to some degree, but thanks for the raw upload. But just listen to what Walter Kong says. He is the general manager of Overwatch franchise. So he's in charge of everything, not just Overwatch 2, but any potential future direction they take the franchise in. But listen to this.
Off to my teammates, I have some high-level context on where we're taking Overwatch 2 and our goals for the next year. We're focused on giving the millions of players in our game each day the very best PvP experience we can.
So I'll just pause that there. He's focused on giving the players the best PvP experience they can.
While we'll be mixing in PvE events and modes and progressing storytelling, our main goal for Overwatch 2 is striving to make PvP gameplay more rewarding and more fun.
That is a huge statement to make. let me decipher that for you guys, right? PvE was a total failure. We wasted loads of resources on it. What we actually produced was terrible. We're not having the same amount of resource expenditure on PvE. Instead, we're now going to focus that into PvP. I think that's what he's saying there. But even if he's not saying that, what he's saying is less PvE, more PvP. And he's straight up saying Overwatch 2, it's a PvP game. It's not a PvE game. Now, I want to go off on a mad one about this, because I think this is where the dream of Overwatch kind of died, right? Because we were all, you know, we all love the PvP. 6v6, we're back in Overwatch 1 times. It's great. It's fine. Overwatch 2 goes 5v5. Okay, whatever, you know, interesting change. But I think it has made the game better to play. It's a bit woeful for tanks, but whatever. We could just talk about that forever. But the main drive was the fact we were getting a campaign and the hero missions and all of that stuff, which, of course, we're now through the other side of that, and we can clearly see they could not deliver on that. So what they are doing is going back to, well, they're going back to PvP because that worked in Overwatch 1, fully supporting it. And what, crucially, this is sort of like an admission that the game we are playing now is always going to be the Overwatch game. We are in a seasonal cadence now for this game. you're not going to see some earth-shattering mega update to Overwatch ever again, I don't think. We're just going to get these sort of, yeah, we might get a cool sort of mini limited time mode. You can see this actually with the recent Halloween mode. You think of the first Junkenstein mode. That was a lot more fleshed out than what we actually got for the recent one, which was just in one little room at the end of Blizzard World. Okay, it had some cool little bits and pieces, cool mechanics that were clearly reused from PvE and whatnot. It was cool, but how many times did you guys play that? I played it like 3 times, and then that was it. You know, the interest, it was a cool little mode, but the interest was gone. Junkenstein's Revenge, the OG one, played that loads. That was super fun to play, right? So, you know, there are issues, right? But I guess what I'm saying here is I think Blizzard is straight up admitting all we're going to get now is a seasonal structure for Overwatch going forward. We'll get new heroes every other season. We already know we're going to get 3 heroes next year. We've got, or is it 4? Well, it's every other season, basically, we're going to get a hero. There was some talk that maybe we might get more in the future in a year, but I don't know. I think 3 or 4, 3 is enough a year. So I'm not really I don't think I'm too fussed about that, to be honest. I think where I'm getting confused is we had 4 this year, didn't we? Because of, well, we had more, I suppose, because we had a lot more, but whatever. What do we have? Well, no, because we can't really count the heroes the game launched with, I suppose. Anyway, forget that, whatever. 3 heroes is fine a year, that's what I'm saying. So, but the point is, you have got this commitment here, this statement. Overwatch is just going to get seasonal content. It is just going to get skins. It is going to get new heroes. It will get new game modes. It will get new maps. And that's the Overwatch we're in. I think we've lost the sort of the grand vision of this thing can be massive. You know what I mean? And I think as players, and especially me as a content creator, you need to come to terms with this. And it's not all bad. You know, I've always said all they had to do was upgrade or add content, basically, to Overwatch, and people would have loved it. Because you have to remember, Overwatch 1 only really had content for the first year and a bit. And then it was just recycled seasonal events. And yeah, we got a new hero every now and again. But, you know, there was years of no content for that game. That's not going to happen again, so we should rejoice for that. But I think, you know, deep down, it's really hard for me to articulate this, but it's like the dream of what the game could have been. It's not going to go in that direction anymore. Instead, it's focusing on the player base that it's got, and it's going to keep servicing them, which, you know, by all accounts is a big player base, and we're just going to go from there. So this sort of means that, I don't know, like we're never going to get this massive, super mega update. You're not going to get like a huge, ultra update of like some massive new feature to Overwatch. You're just going to get a new game mode. You're just going to get a new hero. You're just going to get new skins, you know? So, I don't know. Anyway, let's just listen to what Walter says, and then we're going to move on to actually what happened at BlizzCon.
For today, our intention is to focus primarily on how we are aiming to improve those elements of the game that we know are important to so many of you. To go through it all, we have members of our fantastic team here. So, yeah, let's jump over and break down everything that happened at BlizzCon. Okay, firstly, massive shout out to Alex over on our Overwatch. This is a great breakdown. I was doing this myself, and then I found it on Reddit, so I am going to steal your homework. Thank you for this complete, like, this is complete as well. There's nothing missing from this. So I'm going to put a link to this in the video description below. Go and check it out, guys. Give it some love, but thank you, Alex. Yeah, Alex, Alex here. Thank you. Okay. I think the first place to start is with the new hero. I think his name is pronounced Magua. Now, I am going to get slaughtered for this in the comments below like I have in all my other videos. I think it's Magua. I really can't say his name. So I'm just going to say Mauga for now. Everyone is saying that at the moment, so maybe it's a little bit okay, but that's not how you pronounce his name. But anyway, let's just get into this because we'll fire up the gameplay trailer and we'll just go through this. So I don't think he's a very good hero. Now, he might actually be the worst new hero they have ever added into the game. He is... At close range, he will annihilate everybody, right? He heals himself because he's critting at close range because you're firing both your weapons. You set the target on fire, and then your alternate fire, it's just straight up any hit on the target is giving you health through your Berserker passive. That's great. But it takes about 10 seconds for people to realize this is bad news, and so they run away from you. Your problem with Mauga is you're super slow. You are really, really slow. You are like a ground Hammond with no vertical mobility. This means you're extremely vulnerable. This charge we're seeing here from the gameplay stuff, it's cool to do that, but you're wildly out of position and end up dying. You can actually do a really cool thing with it as well, where you can start the charge, and as you jump in the air to do the slam,
cancel it with the same button, or you can just press jump, and it will actually just bring you right to the ground. You can carry on running instead of the slam, which slows the movement aspect of it, I guess. So, close range, great damage, but easy to outplay. His poke damage, which is what he was billed as, this sort of anti-air poke tank, honestly, it's not great. Like, I might even need a buff, to be honest, but I know that's a very, that's a questionable thing for ask for. It is a tank. We don't want crazed amounts of long range damage coming from a tank. But you've got this dynamic, right? So your primary fire, you're trying to set targets on fire at range, and then you're trying to hit them with your alternate fire to get a crit, basically wherever you hit them. So they'll die faster. Obviously, you get the health from it as well. But you're just looking to take them out. You're trying to harass maybe a Farah. You're trying to harass... I've got tons of gameplay footage of this. I probably should have prepared some of it to show you examples. But basically, if you just take my word for it, you don't kill anything at range. Like, you're poking and poking. It is adding to your damage, but you're really not killing anything. At close range, you're the highest damage thing there is. Probably a Reaper, if he's just straight up headshotting you, is higher damage, or maybe in an assault mode Bastion. But like, the time, you got 300 bullets. You can just keep firing and firing and firing. The damage is crazy. The problem is, everybody counters this guy really easy. So like, you get hit with an Annonade, it's all over. It's literally all over. Also, she can just put you to sleep at will because you're massive. You're like a diva that can't move. So you just get wrecked all the time with crowd control. Well, with sleep, I should say. Now, you are immune to crowd control if you use this dash overrun. You can just run through crowd control effects, which is strong. But again, I'm not too sure if that's... I just really struggle. Like, the other issue... I guess... Okay, I could make an entire video on this, and I am getting a bit rambly about this hero now. But, like, he is a Roadhog, but we don't know what Roadhog's rework looks like, so we don't know what direction they're taking him. But it's like he's just replacing Roadhog. He just doesn't have a hook. And I don't really... Like, his ability to protect his team is non-existent because he's not disrupting the enemy team. He's with the team. Yeah, okay, he can use his ability where people get health when they damage, but that relies on people actually doing damage to get the health off it. It is... more of like an offensive. It's more like a Junker Queen commanding shout, but I think I'd prefer commanding shout. I think that's a much better ability, notably because it gives a speed boost as well. But I don't know. This is just, it feels really odd, this hero does. I've played him, as I say, only in quick play, but I get the impression he's just going to be farmed by a lot of different tanks. I think he's just going to... I think he's very easy to counter. Tanks can counter him quite easily. I think a lot of DPS counter him. I think supports counter him. I think he's just going to be really bad. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this. Obviously, you've had a chance to play him. I think he's fun to play, and I do think they nail that. And I do think, actually, he looks quite good. I didn't expect him to just have his shirt off. Looks crazy with his shirt off, but there's probably going to be like a Talon heavy trooper skin with him and all of that stuff. But yeah, I think I'm just a bit disappointed. He feels a bit bland, I think. I think they could have made him a bit more, I don't know, extreme. He doesn't really feel like they're pushing any boundaries with him. Okay, let's move on from this. Let's go back to this awesome thread. So yeah, we got his origin story. We won't watch that in this video. And we got his ability overview, which obviously, we did quickly go over his abilities, but we can just take a look at this. So this was from the Overwatch Twitter account, put this out. And like, yeah, again, it's just, I know what they're trying to do. They don't just want to make tanks either a shield bot or, some sort of damage absorption thing, like a defense matrix ripoff or something like that. Sigma's got his own ripoff defense matrix, and we talk about this forever. But this mechanic of the two different weapons, I think, is cool. Obviously, he needed the chain guns because that's what he was. He was a Talon heavy trooper. His ultimate cage fight, there's a lot of tech with this. I think this is going to be much better just for blocking people getting to objectives. Like in an overtime scenario, you can just stop people getting to a payload. You can just stop people getting to a point. I think that's almost the main component of this, because I feel like when you get to use this in a game, it's often when you're winning anyway. If you rush in and drop a cage fight, maybe you get nano boosted as well, and you're in the cage fight, you nanoed, you've got unlimited ammo, you're just drilling people with both weapons at close range. Yeah, but I think I've died more times than I've survived in a cage fight when I've used it, but the cage itself has done what I needed it to do. It's kept the enemy in there. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the main component to it. It's weird. And also, I'm not really a fan of its visuals at all. I think they look really poor. Reinhardt had a better visual. In fact, it wasn't Reinhardt. It was just a pickable, a lootable item, an equipable item, I should say. That was from the early Overwatch 2 Rio de Janeiro mission that I played back in 2019 at BlizzCon. You could drop it down on the floor and it created like a dome shield. That looked better. Or like it's not a dome, is it? It doesn't have a... Well, it does have a top, doesn't it, the Mauga one? I think it does. But yeah, like a cylinder, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Overrun, like I said, this is okay. Needed a movement ability, but I don't think it's that great. It would be nice if you could jump higher, I think, at the end of it. That would probably make it a bit more usable, because you could maybe jump to high ground with it or something. Cardiac Overdrive, this is the ability I was struggling to remember the name of. But nearby allies take reduced damage. So that is the tank component to it, to be fair. I should have highlighted that earlier. But this idea of you then heal by taking damage if you're in it. Again, you've got to be by Mauga for this to take effect. It's quite close to him as well. And the Berserker passive is great for Mauga, because any crit doesn't have to be from setting them on fire, then shooting them with ult. It can just be from a headshot anyway. Will give him temporary health, which is really good. Well, health and then temporary health as well. So yeah, I'm like, I think he's okay, Mauga. I think visually he looks okay. I think his gameplay is okay. I'm really worried about his impact on the game being very minimal, to put it lightly. But hopefully I'm wrong. I don't know. You guys, like I said, let me know in the comments below what you think. So yeah, and as you can see, he was playable until November the 5th, which was, if you're watching this video, the day it went live, was yesterday. Okay, so let's move down to Hero Mastery. So this was honestly a bit of a surprise. Oh no, it actually doesn't talk about it here, but I was going to talk about the Defense of the Ancients mode, well, it's just not a Defense of the Ancients, the Tower Defense mode. Don't worry, they're not putting Dota into Overwatch. So yeah, let's just quickly go over this. Hero Mastery. New courses will be available for the following heroes: D.Va, Echo, Genji, and Lucio, and Mei. Leaderboard will be reset, but there is a new replay feature, which they have, again, got an awesome screenshot of. Now, when I seen this, when they announced it, this looked really, really cool, this did. Because what you can do with this is put bookmarks in the replay timeline. Now, if you guys, maybe some of you guys remember this, but I used to produce a series called Overanalyzed. It was like a comedy coaching series for Overwatch. It was pretty good, actually. But this would have been amazing for this, especially if people could put their own bookmarks in a replay and then send it to me. That would have been incredible. But yeah, the idea of this with Hero Mastery is it's going to help you obviously rewatch the replay back, and you can leave a note and say, okay, maybe I need to look at this. Maybe I can do something a bit different here. I think it's cool. It's something I didn't expect to see. So it's nice to see development is carrying on with that. So it's cool. This is all fine. You know, I'm ambivalent to this. I don't play Hero Mastery myself because I don't think, you know, it's a fun mode if you want to waste some time. But I think I'd rather just play Overwatch instead of like Hero Mastery. And also, Hero Mastery does not make you better at a hero. It lets you understand the abilities, I guess, but it's completely different to playing the game. I mean, honestly, the best way to get better at Overwatch is to just play Overwatch. Play quick play comp, just grind games out. Okay, so coming in 2024, we've got a new PvP game mode called Clash. This is a mode that consists of 5 capture points in a straight line. We'll see a graphic about this in a moment, with the center point being the first objective. And basically, if you're in the center, like you fight over the center, capture it, and then you start pushing the enemy team back. Teams have to fight back and forth over the map, pushing the enemy into enemy territory. Once a team captures all 5 points or reaches the maximum score, they win. Aaron Keller actually said about the maximum score, the reason for this is they don't want the mode to just keep going forever. Like, they don't want it to be like, you know, you need to cap the whole way because it could just end. You know, this could keep going back and forth. Because obviously it's going to be more defender advantage the more you get pushed towards the end. Again, that's what Aaron said from the panel. So this is the infograph we've got, which explains the mode. Now, this, as I'm kind of covering it, so we'll just make it a bit smaller. So this basically, well, we'll make it larger to read the text first. So it says 5 capture points in total placed in a straight line on a mirrored map. Only 1 capture point is active. Match starts with capture point in the center. Players capture a point by standing on it uncontested until it's fully captured. So, you know, if you've played 5 CP, this is similar to that, although I believe the difference is there's only 1 point that's active here. It's not multiple points. But anyway, the graphic, what this shows us is the center point is the basically the place you fight over to begin with. So you've got team 2, and they both spawn in these positions, and then they fight over this point. Let's say team 2 capture it. This will turn red, and then team 2 push forward to B and try and capture this, right? I would imagine the spawn point stays at D and the spawn point is now at B. So they can defend this easier. But then if you capture this, then, oh yes, you have then got to attack the final point. Then I would presume you capture this, and that is it. It is game over. Now, new game modes, I think, are fine. I've got no... Again, like, I like Flashpoint as a game mode. I don't like Push as a game mode, but it's okay. I'm not like a total Push hater. Okay, I like Esperanza as a map, but I'm not a fan of New Queen Street. But like, or even Colosseo, to be honest, I'm not really a fan of that. But like, I don't know. Like, you have to ask yourself, like, how many? Again, this is a bit like you can take this with a pinch of salt, but how many competitive games out there are constantly adding game modes to their core mode? I mean, they generally have a mode which they build upon. You know, is it fair to compare games like, you know, Counter-Strike, I suppose, Valorant, although, well, no, because Valorant it's just a bomb plant, basically, for competitive. I know they have other modes as well, but they're not competitive, I believe. You've got Apex Legends, a BR. Can we compare a BR to Overwatch and just say, like, oh, they just change the map itself. It's still the same game mode. And they just add new bits to it. Overwatch is a completely different game, so is it fair to say that? Again, I'm not sure. I think it's a bit simplistic, though, to go, no, we just dismiss them because, you know, there's a lot of elements these games all share, and they're all FPS games at the end of the day. So, yeah. New game modes, it's just like, we're going to get to a point where we've got so many game modes where you're going to sit down and play Overwatch and not get the game modes that you prefer. You know, I like Control. Just let me play that over and over again. Throw in some hybrid maybe or something, you know. I don't know. Yeah, the launch map, this will be Hanaoka. This is there's actually a picture of this. So this is a rework. Well, it is a rework of Hanamura, but it's not the Hanamura map. It's the other side of the temple. Now, I think this looks cool. Obviously, you can see the big Hanamura temple in the background. All the Hanamura art assets are being used on this. Yeah, and it's going to be nice to go back to this locale. It is a really nice looking map, Hanamura, and it's a shame that it got thrown out of the game just because they couldn't balance assault, which I think they should have just balanced assault, but whatever. You know, they did try, so we can't just say they did nothing with it, but it still had a bunch of issues. And also, there's a layout of the map. This is a block out, which was taken from the live stream. Yeah, so, you know, that's fine. So, yeah, new maps. New maps are okay. New game modes, like, yeah. I mean, I think Aaron said they're looking to do a game mode a year, at least. They might even be able to do multiple. I think that is maybe too much if you know, I don't know. Like, this is a difficult one, this is, right? Because you want new content. And saying you've got a new game mode to Overwatch, you've got to think, like, somebody like Aaron Keller, like, they worked on Overwatch. Well, they've worked on Overwatch since it wasn't even Overwatch, like, way back into, like, 2010, I think, or 2011, when it was Titan. But, like, and probably even earlier than that, to be fair. The game went so long without new game modes, you can't actually fault them for going, now we're adding game modes. Look, guys, we've got loads of new stuff. But I think we're getting to the point where, you know, the game's been out for a year now, Overwatch 2. We've had Push and we've had Flashpoint. We're going to get Clash. It's like, well, what's next? You know, we can't just keep spamming these core game modes in. So I don't know. Maybe there's a better use of dev time instead of that, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Venture. Okay, so Venture, this is the code name for the upcoming Damage hero in Season 10. And we'll take a look at the concept art, and then we'll check out the footage. So it's Venture. What makes Venture unique is it's the first non-binary hero in the game. There are some like little interesting bits of lore here, like the patch on the shoulder is from the Petra map. There's a lot of archaeology equipment all over the map, and you can see the same logo. So it's cool that she was sort of teased in a way. Or they, I should say, were teased in a way way back when, which I think is cool. Or they might have just looked at the map and gone, oh, hey, we'll just use that in the hero. We don't know. But I think they look to be a really, really good hero based off what I'm about to show you now. So this is the gameplay footage. And again, thank you to the person who uploaded this. But Gamers Pray, thank you. So basically, they're like, they've got a primary fire that detonates. If you watch the primary fire, we'll watch this a few times back, so don't worry. So the primary fire sort of detonates. I know it's sort of off screen a little bit, it's because I've had to zoom in. But basically, you can see they've got a primary fire, and this detonates, and creates this little like cluster effect. It's like a little flak sort of cannon effect. I think this is very similar. We'll jump back actually to see more of it. But I think this is very similar to Roadhog alternate fire. But they do seem to fire it into the floor. Now, I'm not sure whether that's causing it to detonate. It looks like it is, so it might detonate when it hits the surface. Now, of course, the other thing here is you've got this underground burrow ability. Now, Aaron says this makes you invulnerable when you do it, so it's a great escape mechanic. But obviously, becoming invulnerable is really powerful anyway. You can just roll out of stuff, it looks like. Pretty cool. Also, you jump up into the air, which is vertical mobility, which I think, again, is pretty... That's pretty strong. And also, there's a new tank hero sort of tease there. I don't know if you guys call that, but we'll take a look at that in a sec. Yeah, so high mobility, right? You've got this dash forward. You've got this drill into the ground, which you then fire up into the sky so you can get to high ground. This looks really good. We don't know what the ultimate is, by the way. But I think my main takeaway from this, right, is I think Blizzard didn't have enough to show us at BlizzCon. So they were like, uh-oh, what have we got that's... what we can just bulk out a presentation with. Let's show them a couple of new heroes, but only show them dev footage from one, which is fine. So I think that was okay. I found this quite interesting because it is nice to know what they're working on. It is also as well them being more open. So I can't just totally shit on them here and go, oh, they didn't have enough stuff to show us. They are actively being more open with what they're working on. So I think that's a good thing. This to me is better communication than some of the crap that they put out on the blog. So I think this is pretty cool. But yeah, as a new hero, I just think they look very, very strong. They look like they're going to be hard to kill. They look like the primary fire. It's really hard to tell from this clip. But I mean, firing that into groups of enemies, surely it's going to do tons of damage. And if you get the explosion just right on somebody's head, like Roadhog does, then you just kill them. I mean, we could actually see it if we jump back a little bit here. You could sort of see it. Hang on, a bit more. Yeah, when they fire, it's odd. I don't know if it looks odd, but I guess the takeaway from this is it is a projectile hero. It's not a hit scan hero, and I want Overwatch to do more of this stuff because these are more the heroes that can only really exist in Overwatch, right? Other games you can't just have a projectile hero. Like imagine if you had a projectile hero in Apex Legends, everyone's running around. Well, that doesn't even make sense, does it? Because everyone just uses all the same weapons, but projectiles are just not going to work, are they? In a game where everyone's got hit scan weapons, it's a terrible example, and I'm retracting that. But for Overwatch, yeah, give us these heroes because I think you can do more stuff with them. All right, I think we're going to move on from this. So yeah, they look okay. There's a little breakdown here of the primary fire, but we kind of covered it. So just to go over it again, shoots an AoE projectile that travels set distance and explodes on contact. It does look as well like it explodes on, well, I guess it's on contact, but it explodes. Like you can almost use it like a Hanzo scatter arrow in some ways, like make it explode at people's feet. They've got a burrow ability where while burrowed, they cannot be damaged, but they can move in any direction. They can emerge from the ground with a vertical burst of movement. Yeah, I mean, we've gone for this. Ultimate wasn't shown, and there was a little dash forward. I missed this actually, but it grants 50 shield HP, which seems, again, pretty good. Maybe they're going to be more of like sort of like a May kind of DPS than like a brawler style of DPS. I don't know, but I think it's really cool. Yeah, and Law confirmed as non-binary hero, and they're a Canadian archaeologist with an unquenchable thirst for treasures and hidden secrets, which basically is Indiana Jones. So the other hero, I'm just going to take a quick drink. I told you guys to get a drink. I told you it was going to be a beefy video, this. But yeah, Space Ranger. So let's take a look at the concept art for this. So this is Space Ranger. And I want to see the... there was an in-game UI of this hero. Do I still have... No, I don't have the other window open. But basically, it looks like these things above her head. You see them on the in-game model whenever you're using them. They look like... If you look at them, they look like little micro missiles are coming out of them. Maybe they're healing missiles or something. I don't know. What's worrying to me is this seems to have a burst fire smart SMG. Now, in case you're not familiar with smart SMG or smart weapons in general, smart normally denotes it just locks on. So you're firing this and it locks on. So is this a hit scan lock on weapon. I really hope it isn't, Blizzard. I really hope it isn't. Yeah, so a couple of other notable things with this hero. They come from Mars. It will be the first hero from Mars. Again, this is cool because it's expanding the Overwatch world beyond the moon. We're now going to Mars. Now, again, we don't know anything else apart from that. I think there's a little bit of a recap here, but we don't really know. Highly mobile. Yeah, okay, we do know that, which I'll show you in a second. So we went over the SMG, but the mobility. So the mobility component is if you look at the ankles and the wrists, there's little rocket jets on them. We think this hero is going to be super mobile. In fact, Blizzard have said it's going to be a mobile hero. We don't know whether that means it can straight up fly, or it's like Pharah, or it's a combination of Pharah and Mercy, or I don't know. But it's going to be highly mobile, and it's going to have a smart SMG. This looks pretty good to me. So again, we'll have to wait and see how this turns out. But nice that they showed this off. Like I said, you can be cynical and just go, well, they're only doing this because they don't have... They literally don't have enough stuff to show us at BlizzCon. But I like to think they're just opening up a little bit. And I suppose in some ways, this prevents leaks as well, doesn't it? You know what I mean? If it's already out there, you can't leak it. Okay, competitive. This is a big one. So there's a lot of changes in competitive. I've got a video on the channel that breaks down the individual changes, but we will just go over this because, like I said, this video is meant to be about everything that's happened at BlizzCon and, like, what are the feelings after this. But we need to go over everything first to sort of have an anchor point. So, there's a new rank called Ultimate above Grandmaster. They gave us no information on they didn't show us the rank icon. They didn't show you any of the restrictions that might be placed on this rank, any of the rewards or anything. The fact is, I will not be at Ultimate rank. Probably most of you watching this video will not be at Ultimate rank. I'd imagine this is just to replace this top 500. And so those top 500 players will become Ultimate players. And it's possible they're going to use Ultimate as a way to stop players grouping together. Because as you're about to see as we go over this, Blizzard are trying to encourage grouping in a much wider sort of span of ranks. And I think this might culminate in you'll be able to get 3 of your mates together if you GM and just play in GM. Obviously, you can't do that now because it would be very overpowered. But if the new rank above that Ultimate says, no, you can only be solo, that's kind of a way to get around that. So that's what I'm thinking they're going to do with that. Anyway, like I said, it really doesn't impact any of the player base. That's like 0.01% of players. But it's good to have like I guess like a Halo rank to aim for. And also drinking Dr. Pepper and trying to talk. It's not a great idea, is it? Then the next thing we've got, and this is massive. So it's the removal of the 15 wins or 15 losses. Now, this is kind of funny because it's like, okay, lads, we're just going back to the way Overwatch 1 was. You're just going to get an update after every game. But they are going to change the way we get the update delivered to us to give us a bit more information rather than big number goes up or big number goes down. And I don't feel great when number goes down. The problem is, and I think one of the reasons why SR was removed is if you play Overwatch comp and you lose a game and your rank goes down, and you lose a game and your number goes down, and you lose a game and your number goes down, you then do not play another game because you think, well, I'm not playing anymore because my numbers just keeps going down. And this isn't fair because it's a team game and like I've tried my best and we've lost and yada, yada, yada. So what they did to try and fix this is go, actually, we won't give you a rank update after every game. We'll do it after, I mean, it used to be more, didn't it? But we'll just roll with the current system. It'll be after every 5 games. The problem with this is, that's 5 wins as well, or 15 losses, is it's even worse, right? Because after that moment of euphoria, I have won 5 games, let's go rank update, and your rank does not change. You go, what was the point of that? They do show you are ranked at a certain percentage in the tier that you're in. So it might say you're ranked 90% higher than most of the players, right, in the division you're in. Great. But no one cares about that. It's not very good information. The point is your icon never changed, or even worse, your icon goes down. So your rank goes down. So maybe you were Plat 1, you become Plat 2. Maybe you were Gold 1, you become Gold 2, but you've just won 5 games. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't give players information. Terrible, terrible, terrible system. The worst thing that was ever added to Overwatch by far. Anyway, there's going to be a new competitive page. This updates your progress after every game. I think I'll probably block this again. Yeah. But this is... I'll make this smaller so we can see the percentage in a second. But basically, the idea with this is to give you more information. So what this is saying here, right, is your gold one, and you've got 85% of the progress towards the next rank, right? So if I make this smaller so you can just see. So you've got 85% of the progress to the next rank. Now, this is good because it means if you lose a game, you're going to see your bar go back, but it's not going to go back loads. So you know, actually, all right, if I win another game, I can get back to where I was, or maybe you get further ahead because you've got these different accelerators on the bottom, things for like, you know, your calibration, your streak, which is your win streak, an advantage. But this is also going to suffer from the same issue that SR had, where if you keep losing and losing and losing and losing, what happens when you're at the bottom here and it's like, uh-oh, I lose a game, I'm going to D rank. What do you do as a player? You probably stop playing. So Blizzard's clever plan around this is up here. This is the progress. Now, look at this. You're getting rewarded currency for this, right? But it says complete one game, wins grant triple. The key terminology here or language is complete one game. This is straight up saying you can lose in comp and still get a reward. So this is trying to offset what I've just explained here at the bottom where, uh-oh, I'm only one game away from being D-ranked, but, oh, I still get stuff, so I'll still keep playing. I think that's what they're trying to do here. So this system to me is like, it's just a fancier way of showing SR, but it is like, it's better. It's better than the, like anything is better than the 5-win crap where you had no idea what was going on. So I think this is better. I think, remember the key thing they're always trying to do with these type of games, live service games, that is keep you playing the game. So this is probably going to increase, I guess, active player hours in competitive. So we'll do its job in that way. But like I said, I don't think this is like the greatest thing I've ever seen, but I think it's a lot better than what we've had. Okay, the next thing is competitive overview will now show a predicted rank. So again, I'm covering this. I apologize. I could grab my camera and go all over the screen, but I'm just going to chill in the bottom corner. It's fine. We can work it out. It's all good. But basically, this now gives you a predicted rank as you're going through your placement games, because placement games are now back. So if you look at this, this player has won 7, well, has completed 7 placement games, but has won 4 of them and lost 3. And this is saying your predicted rank will be gold 1. So it's already showing you before you get into this game that your predicted rank, like you complete placement, will be gold 1. Now, there are some notable things about this. They say there's a lot more weight placed on your initial ranking when you do your placement game. So this gives a chance for you to escape whatever rank you're stuck at. Now, obviously, the current system just keeps rolling on and on and on and on. You're basically at the same rank all the time. You know, you can obviously get better at the game and grind out, but you can feel like you're stuck. Stagnation. Again, you're not going to play much of the game. This, though, is going to like radically change where your rank is, they say, at the start of each season. They're also going to do a soft MMR reset, so a soft sort of rank reset once a year, although no further details were given on that, but like I expect details on that in the future. So yeah, this is fine, right? What this does is this gives you again like a reason to play at the start of a season. It will be like, okay, I'm just going to play these 10 games. This might be like, imagine me, right? So I think my support, I don't even know where my support is, but imagine if I'm getting like I think it's Diamond 1 actually. But imagine if like I do my placement games and then I end up like it's saying my predicted rank is going to be like Master 1 or something. I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, look, that's a huge increase. So awesome. And then you're going to play more. That might make ranks a bit stupid if people are all over the place. And I like competitive and ranks and MMR and all of the associated systems are so complex. You know, I'm an idiot. Like I don't even profess to understand the way they work. But the fact is, as a gamer, as a player, you don't want to be stuck at a rank forever. You want to see progress, but you can't be given progress in skill if you're not actually getting better at the game. And that's the issue, right? So some people will deserve to be where they are. Other people might go much further ahead in their ranks. I'm talking after these placement games because you don't know how aggressively they're going to target placing people. They're going to give you like a massive boost at the start of the season, or maybe you get a massive drop because you lose all your placement games. Again, I don't know. We don't even know if they're looking at specific stats in the game as well. Like you could lose games, but maybe you've got such incredible stats as, let's say, I don't know, a soldier player. You've got tons of damage and eliminations that it's like, actually, no, you need to be placed much higher. Again, we don't know. So take all of that with a pinch of salt. But again, good news that they are changing the comp system. The pre-match rank screen, I should say. This now, what this does is it shows you this match rank range instead of just like the average rank of the game. So you get an idea of like, hey, there's, in this example, gold 1 to plat 2. Everyone is in that range. So yeah. Now, there is a problem, and they actually do talk about this in the post here, but I'm going to talk about this now before we do this reward stuff. This is a really difficult one, right? So, I mean, you can see here, right? I mean, I will read this off, but then I will plug in the gaps. So basically, most grouping restrictions have been removed. When players in the same group have a large gap in ranks between, like bronze and diamond, the group will be classified as a wide group, meaning that it will only be matched against other wide groups. Now, this is a massive problem because what they're trying to solve here is not being able to play with your friend. But the problem here is, and I don't know why they've used diamond and bronze as an example, the skill difference in a bronze to a diamond player is, they're in a different dimension to each other. And there is no world in which having a bronze player on your team, if you're diamond, is going to be like acceptable, like in terms of match quality. Now, obviously, it's not just going to be a diamond, like a whole diamond team and one bronze. Yeah, it's going to be the diamond, the bronze, and then it's going to fill in the other ranks in a range. And the enemy team should sort of be the same. Now, hopefully, it matches on the roles. So if you're a diamond tank, it's a diamond tank on the other team, yeah? And you've got a bronze DPS, it's a bronze DPS on the other team. Because if it's a bronze tank on the other team and a diamond tank, I mean, you would just wreck that. You would just wreck the bronze player. It'll be a joke, right? You'll just annihilate them completely. So, yeah, it's odd. It's like, hey, we want more people to play competitive. We know the biggest issue is you can't play with your friends. This is the only way we can solve it, but it's going to come at the cost of quality of games. I think what's going to happen here is you may see problems with this in grouping. Now, it has to be said, this isn't, if you're a solo queue player, you won't be placed in these games, so you'll still kind of be okay. But I think for grouping, this is going to create some strange groups. This is some strange quality of games. And also, we don't know what the rank progression would be from it. So if you are grouping with a bronze friend and you're like a diamond DPS, is that going to give you a much easier lobby to play in? And if you win, do you get the same rewards you would get if you were just solo queuing? I don't know. I know other games generally give you a much weaker reward if you're the better player in a group that's in ranked. But yeah. Also, on the other side of this, you've got narrow groups where players with a small gap between ranks will be classified into narrow groups. So if you're both diamond players, it'll just try and find diamond teams, and put you together. So that's fine. The system will attempt to match players against others who have the exact same rank, but it's not guaranteed. Now, the thing with this, they're never going to guarantee anything with a matchmaker because the matchmaker is trying to do a lot of complex things all at once. It's trying to work out players' skill levels. It's trying to work out and build a team of similar skill levels. It's trying to then put you against a group of players with similar skill levels. It's doing a lot, and sometimes also I guess one of the major factors to this is queue time as well. Like, it doesn't want you sitting in a queue forever, so there'll come a point where it will just put you into a game. Obviously, at the upper echelons of the game, probably like an ultimate rank or whatever it's going to be called now, it's probably still going to take a longer time to find a game just because there's less players. But this is like, they can't ever guarantee anything because at the end of the day, they want you to get into a game. So they can't sit there forever trying to find a perfect game. Which I think is fair enough, to be honest. Oh yeah, and they do actually say that solo queue players will only ever play with other solo players. Yeah. Okay, competitive rewards. Right then. So emerald weapons are the new competitive rewards. Now, I believe this is just for this year. So check this out, right? Yeah, I'm hiding Zen, but you can see him when he's a bit smaller. Yeah. This is just recoloring a weapon emerald. Apparently, this is going to be once a year as well. So this will be like, oh, look, that's the 2023 or 24 what? I don't know. This is odd. But let's just break this down before we go into detail on it. So all current competitive points will be converted into a legacy currency, which you can spend on gold weapons. So any of the currency you've got right now, you can use that on gold weapons, but you won't be able to use that on the new emerald weapons. That requires a new currency, which you'll get through playing the new competitive system. You'll still be able to get golden guns. It's just that now you will have the option to choose between gold and emerald, right? Fine, but you can't use the legacy currency on emerald. It will just be gold only. There'll be new competitive rewards every year. Competitive challenges are being removed and replaced with a new competitive progress page, which, yeah, this is just, it's a more concise way of showing the information, right? Instead of it, you're having to look at the terrible UI we've got at the moment, it looks better. So you can see like, oh, look, I'm in Plat 2. I'm going to get this Platinum Tank Challenger. And for my damage, I only need to win 5 more games. I can get a title, right? So, yeah, that's cool. But this is a problem, right? This is horrible. This is actually horrible. This is like the lowest effort crap I've ever seen. I mean, it doesn't even look good. It doesn't even look good. Honestly, I'm flabbergasted. This, to me, was one of the worst announcements they made. We do need new competitive rewards, but this is like very, very low effort. Gold weapons were like an afterthought. They were like a thing they threw into the game just to give some sort of way of spending competitive points on. Now, obviously, at that time, this is years ago, it's Overwatch 1, Jeff and the people involved with the game at the time said, we really regret adding that to the game because people were just playing comp to try and get points, to get golden weapons, so they don't care if they win or lose. Now, obviously, we've seen in this new system here, they are going to reward you for losing, which I'm not a big fan of. I think that's bad. But this is like, they're expanding on the gold weapon system by now giving you an emerald weapon. What will be next? A titanium weapon? And it's just silver? Like, it's just crap. I mean, there are things in the game now that actually look better than this. I said in my video I made that focused on the competitive stuff, there's an iridescent shader for Brig, which has been used on the 2 Brig skins now. At least use that. That looks better. That looks better than just emerald. I think what they're trying to do is go for like precious metals, obviously, and precious gemstones to convey the value of like, oh, I've got an emerald skin. But I don't know. I think this is I think this is bad. Talk to me, guys, in the comments about this, but I don't think this is good at all. I think this is... I would be embarrassed showing this off if I was them. Hero Mastery. So this was the bit I was going to talk about earlier on, but this is the new... So this is called Hero Gauntlet, and there was a screenshot of this, I believe. Or a little bit of video, but I don't know. Just take my word for it. But basically, it was like a tower defense thing. There was towers, and you had to defend your tower from waves of PvE enemies, but it was co-op. So this was a Hero Mastery mode that was co-op. Now, I think, for me, this might be an indication that, again, they are abandoning some aspect of PvE because they're giving us these like mini sort of PvE modes. They're not really fully fledged. They're this little side project that some players might enjoy, some players might not. Might just be a case of using the PvE team to give them something to do. A much reduced team, I would imagine, rather than the full-blown story missions. I still expect story missions to come, but I just don't think they're going to be... they're just going to be of the same caliber of what we've received already, which, I don't think was very... I don't think they're very... I just don't think they're very good. I think for a company like Blizzard, I think for a game like Overwatch, they should have been a lot better, and they're not. But whatever. So, yeah, this is cool, right? And again, this was a bit of a shock, and it's fine. I take this. I'll probably play it a couple of times and then forget about it. Truth be told, but there you go. A couple of general... Oh yeah, so this is a teaser for a new map. This is a push map, and this was shown at the end of... you can tell it's a push map because you've got the thing here for the barricade to get pushed into behind Walter, and you can see it sort of goes around. Yeah, this is a teaser. I think it's Peruvian. Again, the image at the very start, when we watched that clip at the start of the video, was in Peru. It looked like it was taken from the concept of Iliari. So, yeah, that's fine. New tank. I said we touch on this, and I guess I forgot about it, but I guess we'll touch on it now. So, yeah, there's a new icon here. These are drawn by one of the artists on the Overwatch team, and they're kind of like just funny... cartoon style representations of the characters. This looks like a turtle guy. I don't know what this is, but this is the next tank hero. It's the first look we've got at it. There's no gameplay or anything. It's just literally this stupid little icon. But yeah, again, cool to see this. Nice. Competing. Oh yeah, okay. So completing the premium battle pass. Now this is about the mythic skins, right? So basically, you'll be able to choose what mythic skin you select at the end of a battle pass. It looks like. Now, we don't know when this feature's coming, but Blizzard could have quite easily sold us these skins in the store. In fact, I was waiting for it. 50 quid skin, mythic, let's go. I thought that's what they would do. They're not. So this is actually a little good sign. This is like, oh, they're not totally going after maximum rinsing of the customer base, right? They're going to give you something for free. It's not really for free because you've still got to buy the premium battle pass. But if you don't play the hero at the end of the battle pass, you can, so let's say it's a Mercy skin and I don't want it. Of course I want it, but if I didn't, I want the Junker Queen skin from Season 2. I'll just select that instead. So, yeah, I think this is cool. Now, there's going to be more stuff coming to the Battle Pass, but we've not been given any additional information on that just yet. They're going to talk about this in January, I believe, next year. So stay tuned for that. I hope it's a case of like they're liaising with Microsoft to say, can we be less aggressive in our monetization? Can we start trying to innovate with our Battle Pass? I hope that's what's going on, but yeah, we'll wait and see. Okay, there's been some new collaborations, right? We don't know what they are, or they've been confirmed, but we don't know what they are, but more are coming. Now, I think this is a given because I think this is where they're making their money. Le Seraphim, I'm not a K-pop fan at all, but like they have obviously pushed a ton of skins. You've only got to look at like Le Seraphim videos on YouTube. Like one video had like 200 million views. It's like, what in the world is that? It's crazy, right? So they're pushing sales, yeah. One Punch Man probably did quite well. So it makes sense they're doing this. This is a big financial driver for them. There'll be more of this in the game. We'll have to wait and see what they go for. I would though expect that if you're like an old, can I even call myself an old again? If you're a boomer like myself, I wouldn't be expecting franchises that you might like, right? It's gonna be Zoomer. It's 100% Zoomer stuff. This will be. It'll be. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something Zoomer. It won't be like, Oh, how can I get out of this now? I've dug the hole. Okay, I'll say this. Call of Duty does a lot of the boomer stuff. Like it has, like they had like did they have The Boys? Was that a collab they did? Did they have Homelander in the game? Or I'm absolutely smoking. I don't know. But I'm not saying that's a boomer program either. Okay, the hole I'm in is massive here. But basically, yeah, I would expect more stuff in the sort of same area that we've had so far. Like you're not going to see like a Star Wars or a Lord of the Rings collab or anything like that. It's just going to be anime. Okay, let's move on. So anime stuff reviews. I watched the last episode of Attack on Titan yesterday, which was incredible. What a show. I'm gutted it's over. But I'm glad that it's not season 3, part 50, the final, whatever. Also, Invincible season 2 came out, and that was really good. But I really liked Invincible anyway. Okay, so themes for the Battle Pass were teased. So we know what Battle Pass themes we're getting. Now, a long time ago, I actually laughed about this because I think it was actually at the start of Overwatch 2 when they said, yeah, we're going to do themed Battle Passes. So I was like, oh, right, we're going to have an Egyptian Battle Pass. We're going to have like a magic Battle Pass. And so what we're going to get is an Eldritch Horror style Battle Pass. That could be quite cool. If you're unfamiliar with Eldritch Horror, just go and look at the Zen skin from second Halloween, I think. That's an Eldritch Horror. Egyptian mythology. Witches. Oh no, the witches are coming. This looks cool though. An alternate universe where heroes become villains. Now they've already done this a little bit because they've done this with the Star Watch stuff. So this might be expanding on Star Watch, right? Because you've got Mercy is a villain in that. Brig is a villain. Sigma, well, he's a villain anyway. Oh, is he? Sigma's being used by Talon, right? But he was the evil emperor. That was kind of like a Star Wars-y style event, I guess you could say. But cool, right? But again, we know the themes that are coming out. If you were hyped, or maybe you got hyped when a theme came out, that's not going to happen anymore because now you know what they are. That's fine. And that's basically it. So I think it's time to do a conclusion. I told you this would be a big video. It is a beefy video. It is a big, big video. I've done a lot of talking. My throat's destroyed. Drinking fizzy pop is not the play when you're trying to talk for an hour. So, is this enough to save Overwatch? Does Overwatch actually need saving? My camera's unfocused on me. There we go. Does it need saving? What is this BlizzCon showing us? What is the main thing to take away from this BlizzCon for us as players of Overwatch? More of the same. I think that's honestly it. It is more of the same. We will get what we got this year again and again ad infinity until there is no much more money to be made. We've got no idea as to things that are coming to Overwatch franchise in the future. Are we getting, I don't know, spin-off Netflix shows? Are we getting spin-off games? I've always thought I'm not the biggest mobile game player, but I think like a tactics style game, like an XCOM style game for Overwatch would be really cool because you've already got the characters to do it. You know, you could sort of do that, and I don't know, there's a lot of options. Blizzard are doing this with World of Warcraft. There's a Rumble mobile game out, which I've not played, so I don't really know too much about that, but I think it is very similar to Clash Royale, which I did play a couple of times years and years ago, sort of where you drop units down and they run up the screen. But anyway, I digress. The thing is, like, Overwatch, if you were looking at this BlizzCon as a, you know what? Actually, there was a thing Aaron said as well, which was he made a very strong point of this is a new team. There are things that have been built here by people that were not on Overwatch 1 when they were showing stuff off, and I think that's a poignant moment because it's like a statement of, look, we're not Overwatch anymore. We're Overwatch 2. We've got completely new developers, and we've got a new direction, and you've got Walter Kong, the GM, saying we're committing to PvP. And I think, you know, massive ships like Overwatch, with like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of developers working on it, and multiple studios as well inside Blizzard, it's like you can't turn fast. You know, if you make a decision, you're committed to it for a period of time. You have to stick to that. And they're very clearly saying the decision they're sticking to is straight up, we are a battle pass driven game. We are a skin driven game. We're going to continue doing these collaborations with external IPs. We're going to add game modes every year. We are still going to look at balance. We're going to add new heroes 3 times a year. We're going to, you know, give you the odd game mode. We're going to do sort of seasonal events, I guess, these limited time modes which pop up in the middle of seasons, which you've had multiple of this year. Some of them have been poor, some of them have been okay. Yeah, so I think if you basically remove the hype of Overwatch at BlizzCon and BlizzCon in general, I think what we've seen is kind of more of the same. Like we're not sitting here going, wow, it's earth-shattering. I can't believe they've added this to the game. This is going to be incredible. There's these like massive things, and that's just not going to happen. But as is the moral of this story, all Overwatch ever needed was content, and it would do okay. And so, all right, guys, that's been a look at everything from BlizzCon 2023 for Overwatch. I mean, I'm all for giving things arbitrary ratings, but if we were to rate that out of 10, where would that place? I mean, 5 out of 10, maybe, I would say. We expected a hero. We didn't get any real major surprises. Yeah. I mean, I think for me as well, a big thing is missing an animated short. You know, like an Overwatch animated short was always a hype moment for BlizzCon and even Gamescom. And we seem to be moving away from that. I mean, in fact, you look at what's happened recently with the Le Seraphim collab. There was quite a bit of animated short in that. And you can see, or at least I feel this way, the reason why we're not getting cinematics for a number of heroes is because that cinematics department is working on the skin department crap. And it's like, that kind of ties into the whole thing of when you talk about the monetization of the game and the direction it pushes development assets in. Instead of us getting a cool animated short, which might, you know, I mean, hey, can anyone seriously tell me the Dragons animated short was less impactful than the Le Seraphim music video? I don't think you can, because that Dragon cinematic is iconic. It's like one of the things that drew players to the game, right? We don't get that anymore, really. I mean, I know we still get new cinematics and stuff. I can't be super harsh like that, but you know, this sort of inclusion of these like animated shorts in promotional stuff just to sell skins is yeah. All right, I'm gonna leave the video at that. My voice is destroyed. I'm gonna go and drink more of this dodgy Dr. Pepper, which is destroying my throat. So even if I was sponsored by them, I'm literally calling them dodgy now. Dodgy. All right, guys, thank you for listening. Do comment below. Go into detail. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff, because it has been. I mean, it felt like it was a more subdued BlizzCon. I mean, obviously, I wasn't there, so you know, I can't really take the atmosphere in. But the BlizzCons I've been to in the past, it was Blizzard in its heyday, I suppose. They were massive. There was that many people. I mean, I literally couldn't walk around BlizzCon. It was that crazy. I'd walk from a hotel, and people were constantly stopping you all over the place. It's really cool. Like, it's a really cool experience. But yeah, it just didn't look as big. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that up in my head. I'm not sure. All right, guys, I'm going to leave the video at that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. See you soon.